Shalom, brothers and sisters. Now, we've covered the depopulation agenda, and specifically, my pet peeve is the euthanasia drive all over the world, pushing into all countries, where we will help you die because by doing that, we achieve our goals. We get the numbers down. Now, this next article shows you just how evil this is becoming and how bad this is becoming in your face, and the world is accepting this as normal. Profoundly disturbing UK judge rules. I can't even believe I'm reading this headline to you. A UK judge has ruled that a conscious 19-year-old can be taken off life support against her will. You heard me right. An NHS hospital is asking the Court of Protection to authorize removal of life-saving medical treatment from a 19-year-old girl, effectively condemning her to death. Unlike similar cases such as Charlie Gard, Alfie Evans and Archie Battersby, the girl, anonymously named by the court ST, is conscious, able to speak, and has instructed her own lawyers to argue that she be kept alive and allowed to go to Canada for experimental treatment, which will give her a chance of survival. Now, I'd like to tell her Canada is definitely not the place you want to go to, because they're driving this euthanasia thing the hardest over there. ST's condition causes chronic muscle weakness, loss of hearing, and damage to her kidneys. She's dependent on regular dialysis and other intensive care, but the condition does not affect the functioning of her brain. The hospital argues that while ST's prognosis is uncertain, she may survive for some months. Her condition is deteriorating and she is therefore actively dying. All of us are actively dying, but side issue. The NHS Trust has asked the court to approve a palliative care plan for ST, which would mean she is no longer given dialysis and would die from kidney failure within a few days. Two psychiatric experts, have been instructed by the hospital to examine ST, and they have told the court that she is not suffering from any mental health illness, has the mental capacity to make decisions on her own medical treatment. ST told the psychiatrist she disagrees with the doctors and wants them to continue to sustain her life. She wants to be given a chance to participate in a clinical trial of nucleoside therapy, which is due to resume in Canada later this year. This would give her a chance of survival. She said she realized that the experimental treatment might fail, but in that case, she wanted to die trying to live. So it's not an issue about funds, I think. This is just a bigger issue we're dealing with. However, the hospital doctors argued that ST's refusal to trust the judgment, trust the science, sound familiar, of her doctors to accept her imminent death is inevitable and amounts to delusion. In a judgment released yesterday, Mrs. Justice Roberts ruled that the decisions about ST's life and death should be taken by the Court of Protection based on the assessment of her best interests, and that ST lacks capacity to have a say in the matter via her own lawyers, rejecting the opinion of both psychiatric experts. The judge concluded that ST is mentally incapable of making decisions for herself because she does not believe what the doctors say about her condition. So even though they've ascertained properly and scientifically that she's mentally there and capable of making decisions, because she doesn't trust the doctors, she's mentally incapable. She concluded, in my judgment, ST is unable to make a decision for herself. She made one, they're rejecting it, in relation to her future medical treatment, including the proposed move to palliative care, because she does not believe the information given by her doctors. ST has wanted to tell her story to the world in order to try and access further treatment, but has been prevented from doing so, ironically, by the Court of Protection. How evil and twisted is that? You don't trust the science, you don't trust the doctors, you don't listen to what they say and what their decision is. That makes you mentally incapable. Now imagine that evil little monster they're growing, spreading across the world. We've decided, because, the things you're spouting on your channel, for example now, wild example, which should be reality very soon, shows that you're mentally unstable and should be removed from society. And you arguing with the doctors that are saying this prove our point, so therefore we should end you. This sounds like that could never happen, but from what I'm seeing in the world, and here's one more case that's even more crazy than the last, this is going to be reality very soon. They will decide who needs to be ushered off into death via euthanasia, and you will trust the science and the doctor, or you will make their case for them. Hectic times we're living in. Pray for the innocents and pray for workers in the field, because the field is ready for harvest and the Lord is in the field and getting ready to pick up his bride. Keep looking up. Shalom.